Today we celebrate the life of St. Peter Claver. He was a Jesuit missionary who spent his life in the service of African slaves brought against their will to South America during the 17th century. He was born in Catalonia in Spain, 1581, studied at the University of Barcelona, joined the Jesuits at the age of 20. While studying philosophy in Tarragona, he developed a friendship with an older Jesuit lay brother, Alphonsus Rodriguez, and although Alphonsus spent his days doing menial work as a doorkeeper, he had immense insight into spiritual matters and encouraged Peter to become a missionary in the Spanish colonies. In 1610, Peter Claver arrived in Cartagena, a port city in present-day Colombia. Despite Pope Paul III's repeated condemnation of slavery, European colonists continued importing African slaves, often sold by their own rulers. Those who survived the ship journey could expect to be worked to death by their masters. Peter was determined to sacrifice his own freedom to bring material aid and eternal salvation to the slaves, in keeping with his vow to become the slave of the blacks forever. The young priest made and kept this resolution despite his own health problems. Many Spanish royal officials in Cartagena appreciated Claver's work and made contributions toward the slaves' relief and religious education. The slave traders, on the other hand, found the priest and his interpreters to be a nuisance. Meanwhile, some Spanish expatriates who sought out the priest because of his holy reputation refused to enter the same church or confessional as the black slaves. In order to minister to speakers of a foreign language, Claver often employed pictorial representations. He communicated by means of generosity, by giving food and drink to ailing workers. We must speak to them with our hands, he reasoned, before we try to speak to them with our lips. In keeping with his vow of slavery, Peter survived on minimal amounts of food and sleep. His life of humility and penance led to miraculous occurrences. St. Peter's work came to an end with his death on September 8, 1654. He had baptized and taught the faith to more than 300,000 slaves during his 4 decades in Cartagena. During the Vatican Synod for Africa in 2009, Cartagena's Archbishop Jimenez Carvajal lamented the fact that his city had been the center of an awful commerce. But he spoke with gratitude for the fact that the same city had become the home of such a great witness to sanctity, the apostle of the slaves. St. Peter Claver, a saint who became a slave for Christ.